Pontypandy Litter Pig by Makala. From the Fireman Brian series. One beautiful day at the Tydale Flats, everyone was gathered because they all wanted to take part in the Pontypandy Litter Pig. Marine biologist Rachel Washington was giving everyone a speech about the event. It was so important that everyone remove trash from the Tydale Flats because it can hurt the wildlife that live in the Tydale Flats. Marine biologist Rachel Washington told everyone to get litter picking. Meanwhile, in the Tydale Flats, everyone was doing their part to clean up garbage in the Tydale Flats. Everyone was given litter grabbers and garbage bags. The kids were also helping too. The kids needed to stay where their parents could see them. Fireman Brian and firefighter Ellie Washington needed to get through the parents because they are going to take part in the event as well. Firefighter Ellie Washington picked up the most trash in the Tydale Flats. Meanwhile, the kids were picking up litter in the Tydale Flats. Jacob James was picking up litter when he found a piece of litter with a free pen on it. Jacob wanted to keep the free pen, but Jacob threw the piece of litter away. The children were supposed to put the litter in the garbage bag, not take it home. Then, the children noticed that a naughty seagull is trying to eat one of the litter. The piece of litter has plastic in it and it could hurt the seagull. Rose Johnson was trying to stop the seagull from eating the piece of litter by shooing the seagull away. Then, the naughty seagull takes off with the piece of litter. The kids needed to chase after the naughty seagull, but they were running past the danger zone. The seagull was on a Tydale Flat island. The kids made it to the Tydale Flat island that the seagull was on. The kids find themselves stranded on one of the islands at the Tydale Flats. Meanwhile, at the Tydale Flats, marine biologist Rachel Washington blows her whistle and says that the tide was about to come in. Everyone had to finish up the litter pick now. Meanwhile, the kids were picking up litter. Everyone had to finish up the litter pick now. Firefighter Ellie Washington thinks she won the litter pick because she picked up the most garbage in the Tydale Flats. The parents were all done, they needed to head back to the children. The parents look around, but the children are gone. Meanwhile, Jacob sends out a message in a bottle, hoping that someone will come and rescue the children. Then, the seagull takes off again. Jacob was trying to jump across other Tydale Flat islands, but Jacob landed on his knee and he hurt his knee. Jacob was in pain. Jacob couldn't stand up. The tide was coming in. Meanwhile, at the Tydale Flats, marine biologist Rachel Washington gets a message in a bottle that was washed up. Marine biologist Rachel gets the message out of the bottle and reads the message carefully. The message reads, "Please help, we are stuck on a desert island in the sea. Jacob James." Jacob James and the children must have been stuck on one of the islands in the Tydale Flats. Marine biologist Rachel calls Ocean Rescue for help. Fireman Brian and firefighter Ellie Washington put on their ocean rescue uniforms and got into the hovercraft. The hovercraft drives off the fire truck's trailer and into the Tydale Flats. As the hovercraft was driving on the Tydale Flats, Fireman Brian uses his binoculars to look for the children. When the ocean rescue team finally got to the children except Jacob were on the hovercraft and the hovercraft drove them back to safety. Fireman Brian checked on Jacob, who was injured. John Jenkins arrived at the scene in his rescue helicopter. Paramedic Pam Walker looked at Jacob's knee and she told Jacob that he had just sprained his knee, but he'll be better in a few days. Jacob was loaded on a stretcher and taken to the hospital to get his knee x-rayed and put in a cast. Meanwhile, at the Tydale Flats, the children were very sorry. Fireman Brian tells the children that they need to be very careful on the beach. It was also very important that the children let an adult know where they are. The children can't always rely on messages in bottles. The end.